Lighting. Yep. Ready, and action!
Eric is, he's a bit of a wild card. He's a fun guy. I love playing him. He's covered in tattoos, which we just have taken off right now. Tattoos, piercings. He is what would seem to be a bit of like a horror movie trope of like the heavy metal, that kind of guy. But the thing that I love so much about him is that he really cares about his family, and he's got a bit of like a soft side to him on the inside. He can be a bit of a off-putting person to some, but with his family, he just cares about them so deeply, and I think that's what I love playing about him.
Final Destination 6 is a continuation of people escaping death, but more specifically, how it can be passed along to bloodlines. And if your ancestors escape death and have you, then it'll also come after you, because you're also not supposed to be alive.
So it follows Stephanie Reyes as she has a premonition, like they all do. But this one's a little different. So, she tries to come and save her family and convince them that they need to follow her and listen to her in order to live. But while she's doing that, there's kind of a parallel of her trying to figure everything else out and kind of put together the clues that are like within the premonition that kind of solve the mystery of the whole, Final Destination universe.
So she is a brainiac of a college student. Big brains. She's very studious. She's valedictorian. She's top of her class. She's kind of just this all-American girl. And she's been suffering from nightmares that have been preventing her from reaching her potential as of late. And she kind of becomes like this action hero kind of girl.
This movie's very much about family in a way that none of the other movies were, and it's really funny and it's really relatable.
God! Oh my God!
Julia is Stephanie's cousin, and so she's one of the Campbell family, which means, I guess, she's not supposed to exist like the rest of them. She's in death's path. She's in danger. So she's Stephanie's cousin, member of the family. Two brothers, older brother Eric, younger brother Bobby. I think she's super, I see her as very loyal. She's very protective of her family, I think. So I think for her, when Stephanie starts kind of going off the rails and saying that death is coming to get them, I think she's really, really skeptical of that. She's definitely kind of rolling her eyes at the whole thing, I think. Although, I guess you find out that death is the only thing you should not roll your eyes at, probably.
Final Destination really brings to life anxieties that everyone experiences. Everyone has those intrusive thoughts where they think, ooh, what if I step out into the middle of the road and, something falls off a truck and takes my head off?
That's not going to happen.
Everyone has those anxious thoughts throughout their daily life, but it taps into the fear of what if that was real? Final Destination taps into that fear of what if those anxious thoughts were brought to life. And the other part of it that I think people really relate to is the idea of fate and the idea of, can you change your life's path, or are you fated to go on this railroad track to follow this path that's been set out for you? So Final Destination really taps into those, philosophical level of thoughts that everyone has.
One thing about franchises that have been around as long as Final Destination have been around is there's a tendency to repeat yourself. There's a tendency to go to the tried and true. And while we still preserve the central premise of Final Destination, what John Watts did was bring an entirely different sort of perspective to it and a way into that premise that was both fresh and original and emotional. And I think it's one of the reasons why the studio got so excited about making another one of these movies.
I think what's different about this Final Destination is it really focuses so much on the familial aspect of it. It being so heavily related in family, you get to know these characters not better than the other ones before, because I think they did a great job with that as well on those, but you get to know them in the way that only family members get to know people, not just friends or lovers or anything like that. You're just getting to know the down, dirty secrets of this family. I think the other thing that sets it apart from the other ones is that it obviously takes place in 2 different timelines, starting in the 60s and coming all the way to the present day, which I thought was so cool.
The crazy thing about Final Destination, it was, the first movie came out 25 years ago. And even the last movie came out, was it 13 years ago? Mm-hmm. And so it's been a while. But at the same time, I think current kids, teenagers and stuff, have discovered it, especially on YouTube. There's so many videos analyzing all the Final Destination deaths, or how you could have cheated death in Final Destination 2, or the best kills ranked from Final Destination. So I think a lot of...
Or just videos of things that have happened in the real life being posted on YouTube saying, look what happened, this is from Final Destination.
Yeah, my real life Final Destination moment. So FD has kind of lived on in the public dialogue, even though it's been so many years since the last movie. And I think, people who weren't even alive when the first movie came out know the franchise from YouTube and from the other online stuff. And we're really excited to make this movie for them too.
I think that's kind of what's really interesting about the movie, is that it takes that original conceit and then it just goes deeper into it, right? So there's more kind of questions about how it works and why it works, and then who's next and why they're next, or are they next? Maybe they're not next. So yeah, I think that's the fun part of it.
I think that Zach and Adam bring, I think they're bringing a new take. I think that's what this is. I think that's what they're trying to do with this. This is a new generation. It's a reinvention of this series. And I think they're coming at it with a real desire to have all of these genres exist in this one movie, and bring a real complication and accept, weave that in as a real part of this.
B-Mark! No sync on Charlie, off speed.
It's been really cool to see, how much attention to detail has gone into this. I imagine maybe we would just be using a restaurant somewhere in town, but they've recreated not just one, but multiple versions of this entire rotating restaurant with the whole micro LEDs surrounding it, and an immense amount of background performers. And, down to like the food is entirely real, and there's the flambe chef and the seafood chef and the barman, and the whole spread of it's been fabulous, and doing really cool one-er shots through the crowd, and the coordination of it, you can tell they put so much time into planning every little piece of it that it's felt so easy and flawless, kind of like walking into a play that's already been choreographed for you.
Lots of blood, lots of gore, lots of very exciting deaths. And that sounds so wrong to say, exciting deaths, but they're pretty epic in this movie. My goodness, I am blown away every day by what I see. And today we are filming the death of somebody very close to me. That's all I'm going to say.
It's been one of the best experiences I've ever had, because there's a whole journey through this film for everybody. Everybody's got a real through line and just a huge arcing story. So it's really rare, and it feels really truthful and real.
It's really exciting to be able to step into that world, be a part of it now, be a part of Final Destination family forever, and I just hope we make the fans happy and we make people proud to have another movie.